For 60 overs, they should feel hell out there. As the great man, India's best ever batter, bids farewell to the longest format, we can recognize that quote as a testament to how much of a fierce competitor Virat Kohli was. Because when he was out there in full flow, whether as a batsman or as a captain, the opposition felt like they were in hell. To be honest, I cannot believe that Virat announced his retirement. He's only 36 years old, super fit, and he averaged 55 in 2023. He scored a century in Perth not too long ago. I thought he would play 2 more years and retire after the World Test Championship final in 2027. But it wasn't to be, and the great man bids farewell way too soon. I started watching cricket in 2011, and that's the year that Virat Kohli made his Test debut. So this loss is hitting especially hard. And I think that we can all agree that without Virat Kohli, Test cricket would not be where it is today. The passion and excitement he brought to the game was contagious not only to the Indian team, but all the teams around the world. He made the longest format of the game exciting and he kept it alive. And later in this video, I'll explain the knock that he played that changed Test cricket forever. He is India's greatest Test captain, and he's one of India's greatest Test batters. His Test peak may have been the greatest among any Indian batsman ever. And as the great man bids farewell, I'd like to talk about his top 5 Test knocks. There are so many to choose from because this man has played so many amazing Test match knocks over the years. There is no objective top 5 list. This list is just my personal opinion. At number 5, we have Virat Kohli's 116 versus Australia in Adelaide in 2012. His first Test century ever. This was a series that India struggled in a lot. In fact, they lost 0-4, whitewashed. In a series where all of India's seniors failed, a young Virat Kohli stepped up. His innings in Perth and Adelaide were a light in a very dark tunnel for India in that series. At the ripe age of 22, when all others failed, Virat Kohli stepped up. And that was a testament of what he would do for the rest of his Test career. Stepping up when the team needed him most in tough conditions against quality bowling. Taking on cricketing giants like Australia, showing them aggression at such a young age when the team was failing, took guts. And Virat showcased those guts for the years to come and built an Indian team culture that was unstoppable. That knock was the start of something very, very special. At number 4, we have his 153 versus South Africa at Centurion in 2018. Team India's total was 307 and Virat Kohli scored 153 of those, amounting for literally half of the team's runs in one innings against a tough South African bowling lineup on a tough wicket. May I add, according to ESPN Cricinfo, 2018 was the toughest year to bat in Test cricket in the past 60 years, with India on the back foot in the Test match and series. Against a fiery fast bowling lineup that consisted of Vernon Philander, Morne Morkel, Kagiso Rabada, and Lungi Ngidi, Virat Kohli, as always, stepped up for his team when they needed him most on a tough wicket. This Freedom Trophy in 2018 was particularly bowling friendly. Fast bowling friendly, may I add. In the entire 3-match series, this 153 by Virat Kohli was the only century of that series. South Africa had the likes of Dean Elgar, Aiden Markram, A.B. de Villiers, Quinton de Kock, Faf du Plessis, Hashim Amla too. India had the likes of Murali Vijay, KL Rahul, Chiteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane, Rohit Sharma, Hardik Pandya as well. But Virat Kohli was the only batsman in that whole series out of all those world-class players to cross the 3-figure mark. Not only did he do that, he crossed the 150 mark too. His 153 was a world-class knock full of elegance and grace. It was so fun to watch live, and all of these things considered, this knock had to make it into my top 5. Especially considering just how hard it is to score runs on those fast pitches in South Africa. At number 3, we have Virat Kohli's 123 versus Australia at Perth in 2018. This was a knock that he did his famous "I'll let my bat do the talking" celebration. Walking into bat at 8 for 2 with the Australian fast bowling trio of Stark, Hazelwood, and Cummins breathing absolute fire, Virat Kohli played the knock of the ages. The sheer beauty of this innings to me was that on a green wicket against a fiery Australian fast bowling lineup, Virat Kohli took on the counter-attack against them. When the conditions were not favorable for batting at all, with the ball doing so many tricks. Against all the odds, Kohli just took on the Australian fast bowlers. And not through slogging, through elegant cricket shots, through elegant straight and cover drives. He scored 20 from his first 12 balls. And that brought the momentum right back to India. The great man made a fast, green wicket look flat in a matter of just a few balls. And once he brought India back into the game from his counterattack, he played patiently and scored the most breathtaking 123 runs you will ever see. It was a testament to the many different playing styles of the great man, and how he could change or adapt his game at any given moment depending on what his team needed. Virat scored 123 and the team total was 283. So again, Virat Kohli's runs amounted for 43% of the team's total runs. 2018 was the toughest year to bat for any batsman in Test cricket in the last 60 years. But for Virat Kohli, it was as easy as it has ever been. Well and truly a legend of the game. And speaking of 2018, at number 2, we have Virat Kohli's 149 versus England at Birmingham in 2018. This knock meant a lot to Kohli and his fans for many reasons. In 2014, Virat had traveled to England and had a horrid tour. So coming back in 2018, Virat had a point to prove that he can bat and dominate in England. And he proved his worth in the first test of the series itself. This was another absolute carry job by the great man. India's total score in the first innings was 274 and Virat Kohli has scored 149 of those, meaning he scored a whopping 54% of the team's total runs on his own. In a country where so many people had doubted his ability to perform, to play that swinging ball, not only did he silence his critics, he absolutely demolished them. In fact, in that whole series, Virat played 5 games and had an average of 60 compared to 13 in the previous tour? He worked on and beat his main weakness and rescued India from complete humiliation on his own. That too on swinging, overcast conditions against the likes of James Anderson, Stuart Broad, Sam Curran, Ben Stokes, and other world-class English bowlers. This knock will always hold near and dear to Virat Kohli and his fans. Because up until this point, England was the only place he hadn't done well in. But this world-class knock on a tough wicket against quality bowlers when India needed him the most will be remembered forever. England was the final place to check off, and he checked it off in some style. And at number 1, my personal favorite Virat Kohli test knock was his 141 against Australia at Adelaide in the second innings, chasing 364 in 2014. This was the knock that changed how Test cricket was played forever. We have terms today like intent and baseball that all originated from this knock. And here's why. Chasing 364 on the final day, there was not any point that Virat Kohli was thinking of a draw. He was the stand-in captain at the time and he wanted a win. He was totally okay with losing the game if it meant that Team India had tried winning. And at the end of the day, that's what sport is all about, winning. And that's exactly what the great man showcased here. His desire to win no matter what, and that makes the best sportsman across any sport, to be honest. They structure their game style to win games, no matter how improbable it might seem. And Virat Kohli implemented that culture into Test cricket. We can see that with things like baseball now. Even though India could not get over the line in this game, even Virat himself said that this game showed India that anything is possible. Chasing 364 on the final day, most teams would have gone for the draw, especially because the pitch had turned an uneven bounce. But the great man ignored all of that and went for the win while playing the best knock of his life. He played with a strike rate of 80, chasing 364 on a tough wicket against quality bowling, showcasing that he took on the counter-attack and was indeed going for that win. India's final score was 315, and Virat has scored 141 of those, which amounted for 44% of the team's runs in the run chase. After his partner Vijay got out for 99, Virat Kohli kept going, and it looked like he was single-handedly gonna chase down the total in the 4th innings against the mighty Aussies. And by the way, he had scored a century in the first innings of the same test match as well. So this was a case of twin tons on captaincy debut. Like, that is just so iconic. I remember watching this game live, and it was heart-racing stuff. It is not very often that you see a player dominating the mighty Aussies in their own backyard, especially with the aura that Virat Kohli does it with. And with this knock, Virat Kohli showed the world that fearless cricket in Test cricket is the best way to go. He single-handedly changed the way the game is played. He showed the world that even if the wicket is tough to bat on, even if you're playing against the mighty Aussies in their own backyard, it doesn't matter. You just play your own game and go for the win. And that is exactly why India were such a successful test team under his captaincy. One of the greatest players ever. So, from the bottom of my heart and the hearts of every cricket fan around the world, we should just bow our heads in gratitude to this great man for being the brand ambassador of Test cricket over the past few years and making Test cricket great again. Thank you, Virat Kohli.